What is going on, guys? JTron24 here. Went back and played a little bit of Battlefield 4 after about 4-year hiatus. Let's just say I hadn't played since Battlefield 1 came out, so wanted to jump back in and give this a go and see how we make out. So got into some rush on some Siege of Shanghai right off the bat. Here we go, first spawn in about 4 years, guys. Look how good this looks. Look at this game. This game is like, what, 5-6 years old? It still looks great. And I gotta say, guys, I just found one of the big things was that a lot of the gameplay experiences that I had playing this again, you don't seem to get in Battlefield 5. Now, maybe it's just seeing the past with rose-colored glasses, but I'm telling you, I had an absolute blast. I played a couple rounds on Siege of Shanghai, and then a couple more rounds on Zavod and Langkang Dam and Hanan Resort, and I'm telling you, man, like, those maps were brilliantly designed. The gameplay was great. It was frantic, and the gunplay, oh my god, the guns felt so much more powerful than anything you get in Battlefield 5. Compared to these guns, the ones in Battlefield 5 just feel like pea shooters. Like, these ones have kick. I loaded out with the M249 and it just blew me away just how powerful it felt. Now, I don't want this video to just be a Battlefield 5 style. Battlefield 4 is great, because I honestly don't think Battlefield 5 sucks that much. I think it's had a bad run. I think there's a lot of things that DICE could have done differently with the game. But overall, I don't think it's a bad game, right? I mean, sure, there was some game-breaking bugs for a little bit. We'll never forget the invisible soldiers. But overall, I think the gunplay in Battlefield 5 is great. I think the visuals in Battlefield 5 are great. The audio in Battlefield 5 is great. Some of the maps are really well designed. I mean, RS, Twisted Steel, like, those are some really classic Battlefield maps now. But there was just something about going back to Battlefield 4 that really just kind of struck a nerve with me. There were some things about Battlefield 5 that I actually kind of missed going back to Battlefield 4. Right, I missed the slide. That's a key component now. I missed the running while crouched. Right? I mean, we'll never forget Bad Company 2 when you couldn't even go prone. Now I feel that the running while crouched and the slide are just such an integral part of how I play the game that going back to something that doesn't have those felt like I was missing a big piece of that puzzle. But let's talk about Battlefield 4 for a little bit here now. Let's talk about the life cycle of Battlefield 4. A lot of people tend to forget that when Battlefield 4 launched, it was a very unstable launch. There was netcode issues. If you watch this clip here coming up, I left this kill in so you can see one of the glitches of Battlefield 4. Watch this guy right here. Remember this? The sliding glitch? I'm not looking at you and I'm sliding all over the place. I mean, come on, guys. This is a AAA first-person shooter. Things like that shouldn't be in the game, yet they still are. What, 5 years after launch, right? So, okay, Battlefield 5 might have had some bugs too, but I think overall DICE has been doing a much better job at addressing the bugs and then making those efforts to fix them. Now, if you want to talk about content, sure, Battlefield 4 had more content at this point in its life cycle. We had China Rising DLC, which honestly I think that came out within a month after the game was released. Then there was a Second Assault DLC, I think that came next. Now, Second Assault, though, a lot of people, it's maybe a fan favorite, but let's not forget that those are all just recycled maps. So sure, DICE had to build them again for Battlefield 4, but the design was already there. So it didn't take them long to really implement that into the game, whereas they're not really doing that with Battlefield 5. Like, yeah, we're getting the Operation Metro reimagining coming out in a little bit, but overall they're all new maps. Okay, so those all have to be designed from the ground up with the new gameplay mechanics in mind, the fortifications in mind. I mean, I think there's a lot more goes into making maps in Battlefield 5 than there was necessarily in any previous title. And that's going to bring me to another point that I want to touch on, and I want to get everybody's opinion on this one too, because here you see me playing in the busted out tower here on Siege of Shanghai, which I think is a great little area, However, I just want to get everybody's opinion on Levolution as a whole. Do people think it's a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do you want to see it make its return? I mean, I know there was some aspects of Levolution came out in Battlefield 1 where you can knock that rock bridge down in Shanghai, and there was a couple other little things here and there, but there was no real map-changing events that would really happen aside from Battlefield 4. Now granted, while I'll never get tired of seeing the tower come down in Siege of Shanghai, I honestly feel that the map plays worse after that tower comes down. And I would say the same thing happens in Flood Zone. Once all that water comes pouring in, I don't feel the map plays that well anymore, and I would prefer, honestly, to have it without the Levolution. So I wouldn't really miss Levolution if it never came back. I think it was cool to show off at like Gamescom and in trailers and stuff like that, but I think overall it ruined the gameplay experience, and honestly it just kind of came out as gimmicky more than anything. But Siege of Shanghai, let's talk a little bit about this. This one came up pretty close, I think, in the top 10 Battlefield maps of all time, and I mean, there's a reason why, right? It's got that classic U-shaped design to it, just like Wake Island did, where you can fight across the main U, or if you can find a way to get from tip to tip, then you can sort of flank around them that way. It's got a lot of verticality to it, so for all those snipers out there, then this is the map for you, right? Everybody remembers just sniper upon sniper perched on top of those buildings looking down. Now, I don't think you can do that in Rush. I feel like they might have disabled that at some point along the way. But Conquest, you definitely can still do that. Now, I just want to point something out here coming up. Now, attrition has been a hot topic in the Battlefield communities. But take a look at this. Watch how many rockets you get when you pull out your smog. It's absolutely insane. Watch this. Pull it out. 7. 7 rockets is how many I get. Battlefield 5, you get what? 2? 3 if you can get a resupply somewhere? 7 in Battlefield 4. And nobody thought for a second, is 7 too many rockets? No. You know why? Because it wasn't. Half your shots you're probably gonna miss anyways. And tanks were honestly just a little bit more imposing in Battlefield 4. I found when you saw a tank as an infantry player, you tend to get a little bit scared. Right? Battlefield 5, I don't find you necessarily get that same feeling anymore, because one well-armed assault player can take them out pretty quick. But I digress. I said this wasn't going to be a crap all over Battlefield 5 video, and it's kind of turning into that. And you know what? I apologize. I'm sorry, DICE. You know, I love what you guys are doing, but I just feel that there was so much more potential in Battlefield 5. I can remember playing Battlefield 1 when it first came out and hopping in operations and thinking how great this gameplay experience was, and how excited I would be if the next Battlefield game kept the same gameplay dynamics and set it in World War II, right? Everybody thought storming the beaches of Normandy, playing operations would just be the end all. And I think everybody was excited for that for a little bit until they saw the finished product. And I don't know what it is about Battlefield 5 that let me down so much, but it's not the game that I thought it would be. It's not the game that I hoped it would be. There are some positive aspects to it. I just think that overall, that World War II experience just isn't there, right? I saw Westy had a list of things on Twitter, the things that people liked and didn't like about Battlefield 5, and one of them was, I like that it's World War II, I don't like that it doesn't feel like it's World War II, and I don't think there's ever been a more appropriate tweet about Battlefield 5, because that pretty much sums up what everybody's feeling, right? We're super happy that it was World War II. A lot of us were longing for those World War II games, right? Guys that grew up playing the old COD, Brothers in Arms, games like that. And then for DICE to come out with this, I think everybody was just disappointed all around. So hopefully that they can swing it back in the other direction with the launch of the Pacific DLC coming out soon, and some of the new maps might kick it back into high gear. But if they don't do something soon, you know what? I'm kind of scared for the future. I mean, I'm going to keep playing it, right? Battlefield's been my jam since Bad Company 1. I'm just hoping that the community doesn't totally abandon DICE and Battlefield. I think it's probably one of the best shooters out there, and I'm excited to see what they do with the next one. Hopefully back to Modern Warfare. So anyways guys, that was my little Rush outtakes there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a like, leave me a comment on the bottom if you do, and don't forget to subscribe. This is JTron24 signing off. I'll see you on the battlefield.